Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. It has officially been over a year since I made my very first travel palette, and in that time I have made almost 200 of these things, which is absolutely insane to me considering this was supposed to be the only one I ever made. And seeing as these travel palettes have been so popular, I wanted to celebrate the year anniversary of them with something special. Now it probably comes as no surprise that I'm pretty obsessed with galaxies. My various galaxy painting tutorials are arguably why I have any sort of YouTube career at all. And something that has been in the back of my mind that I've always wanted to try out, and I figured the 1 year anniversary of the travel palettes would be the perfect opportunity to do this, would be to try painting some galaxy palettes. So first off, I decided to spray all of the tin lids black. I figured black would be a lot easier to work off of as a base than white, but it did mean that I was having to work backwards essentially, and already I will just say straight off the bat, this first one was a bit more rough and I kind of was going back and forth and experimenting a bit with the particular acrylic paint that I was using. I'd never used before, and obviously I had never tried actually painting one of these lids like this before. So this one was a bit rough, but eventually I do think I did get the hang of the medium and working backwards. Normally I'm not doing galaxies in acrylic paint. I generally am dabbling doing them in watercolor and or colored pencil, so the medium did take a little bit of getting used to. It's not like I've never done galaxies in acrylic paint before, it's just not my typical method. I was also trying to be conscious about the time for these. While I would love to be able to spend, hours perfecting these lids, I knew it was unrealistic to spend too long on each one. I did decide to start off with doing a run of 10. I figured that was a good number to start out with, not only because this is somewhat of a new product, but also just for me. I didn't think more than 10 would be too practical. Not that I don't love painting galaxies, but there is a point where I don't want to be doing so many and having to come up with trying to make them all look unique at one time or another. It was also kind of interestingly meaningful because the very first round of travel palettes that I created to sell was a set of 10, and I stopped there because I really had no clue if they would sell at all. I figured maybe a couple would sell, but clearly those 10 did in fact sell out, and then some. But seriously, it is 1,000,000% thanks to you all that these products have been so successful. So thank you so much if you have ever ordered one of these palettes, or even if you just enjoy watching these videos of me making them. It means so much. I feel like I mention this in almost every travel palette video or just palette video in general, but this is seriously the coolest and most fun, unexpected job. And it's all thanks to you guys that I get to do this at all. So anyway, like I mentioned, this first run of Galaxy palettes is a run of 10, although if they are popular and you guys really love this idea, I will definitely be up for making more and even possibly expanding the Galaxy palette line to the palette towers. The Galaxy palettes would end up being more rare of a type of palette, I guess you could say, than the traditional pour painted palettes, only because they do take a lot more time on my part. I mean, these tins are essentially mini paintings by me, and there will be a point where I'm just not necessarily feeling working on that type of work, as opposed to the pour designs are always really fun and therapeutic for me to do, so I seem to always be up to experimenting with different types of pouring for that, but that tends to be my break from constantly working on painting or drawing. So the fact that these palettes are essentially small paintings, I'm just not going to be up to it as frequently as for the pour palettes. As for the Galaxy designs themselves, I know I mentioned earlier that I was painting them in acrylic paint. I decided to still use my usual acrylic ink for the stars that I like to splatter on with a toothbrush, and then also go in a little with a paintbrush and just make some minor adjustments and, tweak a few things, add a few larger stars here and there. I was trying to vary the galaxy types and color schemes as much as possible, though I am a fairly firm believer that there are only certain types of color schemes that really look good in galaxy form, or at least there are color schemes that look a lot better in galaxy form, and I guess read a lot more true to it being a galaxy or like a nebula type cloud. So there are a couple of palettes with similar color schemes, but I was definitely making an effort to vary the type of nebula, I guess, on the tin. So some of them are more lines across the tin, some of them are a lot more cloud-like or closer views. And yeah, once I got the hang of the medium, I was going through these pretty quickly. And it was actually a really fun change to work on something like this. That's pretty much all I've got for meaningful commentary, so I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of seeing the process of these galaxy tins, just with some nice relaxing music. And here are the finished Galaxy palettes. They will be available right now in my store. The link, as always, will be in the top of the description box. And thank you all so much for making it this far into the video and supporting me in all of the various ways that you have done over the years and continue to still do. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.